Captain Andre Sales with the City of Beloit Police Department. The City of Beloit Police Department is investigating a homicide that occurred this morning at 6:21 a.m. in the 1000 block of 10th Street. Callers reported in a shooting in this area. Once officers arrived, we located a male that was pulseless and non-breathing. The suspect and the victim was having a disagreement, and witnesses stated that the suspect shot the victim. The homicide was witnessed by others who were cooperative with the Beloit Police Department. The victim was transported by Beloit Fire Department to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The City of Beloit Police Department will not be identifying the homicide victim at this time, as his family has constitutional rights. I will say that he is a 50-year-old male and he is a Beloit resident. The City of Beloit Police Department patrol officers did a great job responding to the scene and identifying the location where this homicide occurred. During the check of the house, officers were in the area checking for the suspect, and we were given a very great detailed description of the suspect from the witnesses. Officers located the male in the area of the Portland Avenue Bridge where he was taken into custody. During that time, the male did go to the bridge area and discarded an object into the river where we're currently at, with the assistance of the Rock County Sheriff's Department and the Department of Natural Resource looking for the object that was discarded. I will identify the suspect, who was a 34-year-old male. First name is Mario, middle initial is T, last name Tucker. He's been living at that location where we responded to today for less than a week. He was previously living in Janesville and the Minnesota area. And he was taken into custody today at 7:45 a.m. See any questions?
Just to clarify, you said Janesville, and there is a Janesville, Minnesota. You mean Janesville, Wisconsin, and also Minnesota?
He lived in Janesville, Wisconsin previously, and then also the state of Minnesota.
We spoke with members claiming that they were family of the suspect, saying that the victim and the suspect had known each other for a long time. But is that, as far as you know, accurate, or have they just known each other for that week?
We can't say how long they've known each other. We know that they did reside in the location where this occurred for some time, a short period of time with each other. As we still work through the investigation, we will be able to identify later the length of the relationship that they had with each other.
Do you know what the suspect dropped into the river?
At the time, we can't identify it. We know that one of our officers, a couple of officers did see him go to the south end of the bridge and discard something into the river.
Do you know the disagreement that caused the homicide?
I believe what we got so far was there was some profanity being said into the residence, and it's not allowed there, so they had a disagreement in regards to that.
Is the residence on a halfway house?
I can't identify that at this time. I don't know the make of it or what the residence is used for.
Do we know how long the victim had been living in that home?
I do not know that at this time.
You know what type of firearm was used?
No, we haven't been able to identify that yet. As the investigation goes on, we'll be able to identify that at a later time. It's still fresh. It's less than 12 hours that it occurred. So there's things that we have to do from an investigative standpoint to identify the caliber and the make and go from there.
Can you speak to the difficulty of finding this object in the river? I mean, obviously, it sank quick, but it's a small object in a big river.
Sometimes you're successful in finding things in the river, sometimes you're not. So at this time, we asked our fellow law enforcement agencies that have the equipment to help us out with that, and that's what they're doing. Hopefully we will be able to get that object out of the river and identify what it was, so therefore we can strengthen our case.
I know that portion of the river just downstream is kind of, I don't know if that's officially a dam, but an area where the water flows over. Is that a concern in terms of trying to locate this object, or do you think it may not have gotten that far?
Once again, our officers work quickly. We made contact with the people that operate the dam and was able to get that stopped to assist us in what we're possibly looking for in the river.
Do you know how the suspect may have acquired the firearm?
I do not.
You know, how many witnesses, or roughly how many people were in the house at the time of the incident?
I won't be releasing how many witnesses are there, but we had great witnesses that came forward and felt that they needed to help us bring the suspect to justice, which they did. And that goes into the community relation that we have with our community members.
Is it safe to say more than two, more than a handful? Like, it could be like a range?
I would not be saying that.
Do you know how long between when you guys first got the call and when you apprehended the suspect, how long that time span was?
Looks like here, an hour and 24 minutes. And once again, I mean, you have great officers with the City of Beloit Police Department, our detectives, we worked great together. We got a description out, so everybody was on the lookout. They did a great job of going around the area, expanding our perimeter out to make sure we brought him to justice to prevent anything that further could happen for our community members.
Based on conversations with witnesses, do you have a sense of whether the shooting was intended to kill as opposed to shooting for another reason, perhaps?
I won't be releasing that at this time.
Do you know if the suspect has been cooperative with you guys at this point?
It's an active investigation. I don't want it to compromise the investigation, so I won't be responding to that.
What's the middle initial of Mr. Tucker's?
I didn't.
What's Mr. Tucker's middle initial?
T. T as in Tom.
Any other suspects or people of interest in this case?
Well, I'm confident I can say this was an isolated incident. Just like with most shootings, 80% of the time, the suspect and victim knows each other. So the danger to the community is minimal. And we do have the suspect in custody, so I would say that the residents of the City of Beloit can rest assured that there is no other suspects out at this time.
Any other items of interest recovered from the suspect when he was taken into custody?
Active investigation. Don't want to release that at this time.
Do you have a number as to how many homicide investigations that have been in Beloit so far this year?
This year we've had 2, which is, 1 is too much. So we have 2 so far.
Including this one?
I'm sorry?
Including this one?
Yes.
Anything to suggest there's any connection between this and even just other shootings in the area?
No, they are not connected at all.
Can you just clarify the spelling of the suspect's name or something?
First name is Mario, M-A-R-I-O, middle initial T. Last name is Tucker, T-U-C-K-E-R.
Would you be able to describe at all the state of the suspect when you took him into custody in terms of his demeanor or how he was acting?
He was taken into custody without force being used. I don't want to say he cooperated with us, but there was no force used by officers on him, and he was taken into custody.
Any signs of impairment?
I can't speak on that at this time. If there's no more questions, I would like to extend our deepest condolences from the Beloit Police Department to the family members of the victim. Like I said earlier, 1 homicide is too much, and unfortunately we're working on our 2nd, and we're able to bring this person into custody, and we're just looking forward to going forward and working through the criminal justice system through this one.
Anyone follow? Do you anticipate any, do you know yet what charges you anticipate recommending to the district attorney?
We haven't got to that yet. I had to get with the captain of the Special Operations Division, our lieutenant of the detective bureaus, and we're going to work through that, make sure we have the proper charges, so therefore there can be a successful sentencing on this one.
I guess, do you anticipate there being anything besides homicide-related charges in this case?
Right now, I can't answer that because we all got to put our collective brains together and we come up with that together.